Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Sunland Park here on Sunday. It is March the 25th, 2018. It's Sunland Derby Day from Sunland Park. I'm going to look at all the stakes races on the program, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. I'm going to look at all the stakes races 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. So races 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and the feature 11th race, which is the Sunland Derby. So let's get on to it. Starting off at race number 4 from Sunland Park. It's the 10th running of the New Mexico Breeders' Oaks. Purse $100,000. It's your fillies, 3-year-olds here. Field of only 6 horses here going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, if you want to go by that, or a mile and 1/16 on the Sunland Park main track. My top pick in this race, I like the number 4 horse here. The number 4, Hennessy Express. Gonna go 4-1-3-2 in the superfecta. 4-1-3-2 super. Top pick number 4, Hennessy Express. 5-2. Gets the leg up of Romus Chrononos on this one. Hopefully I said that right. Todd Venture trains this one. This 3-year-old filly by Roll Hennessy Roll. Most recently, his horse had to start the 18th of February at Sunland. 1 mile allowance race, non-3L. His horse finished 5th by 3 1/4 lengths that day, and set the pace early on, but hit the wall completely. But to look at that card from Sunland that day, the ground was the track was rated slow, and I must say that track was very slow because earlier in the day, the 3-horse Scarlet Streak, who's in this race, this horse ran in a main special weight for 23,000 at Sunland that day. 6 furlongs. They finished the race in 1:16 and 1. They went 1:01 to the 5/8 of a mile, so they crawled home. It must, that day, and it looks it. That ground was very slow that day because that other horse, Scarlet Streak, she ran a few weeks earlier at Sunland, 6.5 furlongs. She finished race in 1:17 and 3, where she finished second, and she and they ran the 6 furlongs that day in 1:11. But they were mortaring that day. But that the 18th of February card at Sunland was a very weird track conditions. Just keep that in mind. But back to Hennessy Express. The start before came the 21st of January. The horse's first outing here at Sunland. 1 mile in the Enchantress Stakes. This horse won by 8 1/4 lengths. Broke on top and was on the lead all throughout, and just had a very nice, easy victory that day. Could have won by more, but it was just very easy, beating some lower quality horses. And then the 22nd of November, it's the mile 70 in the Eddy City Stakes. His horse finished 3rd by 2 1/4 lengths. Set the pace early on, then just got overtaken in the final strides of the race. She's going to be the speed in this race, and I do think she can go away with it. So watch out for this one. So to recap my bets for the 4th from Sunland, it's the 10th running of the New Mexico Breeders' Oaks. Going to go with the 4-horse Hennessy Express. Going to go 4-1-3-2 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 5 from Sunland Park. The 5th race, it's the 15th running of the New Mexico Breeders' Derby. Purse $100,000. It is for 3-year-olds, New Mexico breds. Fielded 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, if you want to go by that, or 1 mile and 1/16 on the Sunland main track. Top pick in this race, I like the number 4-horse Blazing Navarone. I'm going to go 4-5-9-2 in the superfecta. 4-5-9-2 super. Top pick number 4, Blazing Navarone. Rye Alcaberry is on this 3-year-old gelding by Song and Navarone. Henry Dominguez trains this one. This horse's most recent outing hasn't started in about 2 months. 21st of January, this horse had an outing at Sunland. 1 mile in just 85,000 overnight stakes. But this horse won by 3 1/4 lengths, and that was a very impressive run. This horse going a mile here at Sunland had a wide poster, which is not ideal because it's a very quick run to the turn. Didn't break all that well. Wanted to really go, but Alcaberry was holding on to the horse. But then, they let the horse go at the top of the lane. And then this horse took off clear from a wide poster. That was a very impressive race. I'm guessing that the race took a lot out of the horse because we haven't seen him since. But I think today off a layoff with a good inside poster, he's been training well. I do think he should run well here today. Start before the 31st of December at Sunland. 6 furlongs in the 4 Rivers Stakes. This horse won by 3 3/4 lengths that day. Didn't break all that well. It was wide, but other than that, after all said and done, this horse did have a great turn of foot at the end and won by very nice margin. And then at Zia mile 70 on November the 22nd, and overnight stakes. This horse finished 7th by 7 lengths. Inside post job, but just really weakened out of it that day. Really wasn't getting into it. This horse's races at Zia weren't the best of his career. I'm guessing he doesn't like that course, but I like this horse here today. He would be a single in the multi-race, so watch out for this horse here today. So to recap my bets for the 5th from Sunland, it's the 15th running in the New Mexico Breeders' Derby. Gonna go with the 4-horse Blazing Navarone. I'm gonna go 4, 5, 9, 2 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 6 from Race 6 from Sunland Park. It is the 18th running of the Sunland Park Oaks. Purse $200,000. It's for fillies, 3-year-olds. Field of 5 horses, going the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16, or the 1,700-meter trip on the Sunland Park main track. And sorry, I showed the diagram. I can't do two things at the same time. I'm a moron. My top pick in this race, I like the number 1 horse, Cram. I'm gonna go 1-4-2-5 in the superfecta. 1-4-2-5 super. Top pick number 1, Cram. The Strial filly by Colonel John Romis Krinos is on this Todd Fincher trained Strial filly by Colonel John. This horse's most recent outing came on the 25th of February. They came at Sunland, 1 mile the Island Fashion Stakes. This horse finished second by 6.5 lengths that day, and just sat second most of the race behind Blamed, who's running back in this one and ran a great race. But this horse just couldn't get to her that day. But I do think this is going to be the Blamed her biggest challenge to date, because they're going to go after her, I think, today, because she got uncontested leads her last few races. But the start for Cram came on the 28th of January at Sunland, 6.5 furlongs, and the El Paso Time Stakes. Horse finished 7th by 12 lengths and really was wide and just had not a good trip. Wide poster was not ideal. And then in a overnight stakes for $50,000 at Zia, 6 furlongs on the 9th of October. This horse won by 6 3/4 lengths on lead all throughout, and just had a very nice, easy victory. An all-around great race. I do like this horse here a lot, so watch out. So to recap my bets for the 6th from Sunland, it is the 18th running of the Sunland Park Oaks. Gonna go with the 1-horse Cram. Gonna go 1-4-2-5 in the superfecta. So now we're gonna skip over to race number 8, the 8th race from Sunland. It's the 26th running of the Henson Handicap. Purse $100,000. It's for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds, and upwards. Field of 9 horses, going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters or 1 mile and 1,600 meters or 1 mile on the main track. See, it's a force of habit from the other 3 races we've looked at. 1 mile, 1,600 meters. Top pick in this race, I like the number 6 horse here, Fapian. I'm going to go 6-5-9-7 in the superfecta, 6-5-9-7 super. Top pick number 6, Fapian. 7-2, Martin Garcia is on this Bob Baffert trained 4-year-old filly by Ghost Zapper. Should definitely get the mile. I always thought about Ghost Zapper, even though he won the Classic at a mile and a quarter. I always thought he was a good miler horse. That was, I think, up his alley. Mile and a quarter, even though he won that day at Lone Star, because I think it was a very speed favoring course that day. But Ghost Zapper, I always think of a mile. But this horse's most recent outing came on Boxing Day, 26th of December at Santa Anita. 7 furlongs in the Grade 1 La Brea. This horse finished 7th by 24 lengths. Unique Bella ran a hell of a race and won next start out. Paradise Woods is running Saturday at Santa Anita. Amapatism, who finished 3rd, won next start out. This horse was wide, didn't break that well, and just never was into it. Throw that race out. That was against Tougher. This race is not nearly as tough. Start before the 9th of September at Los Al. 6 furlongs in the B.J. Lewis Stakes. Horse finished second by 1 1/4 lengths and just sat about mid-pack most of the race. Closed up a little bit at the end, but it wasn't enough to win. And then at Saratoga, 7 furlongs August 5th in the Grade 1 test. This horse finished second by 4 lengths. Didn't break all that well. Was a little bit wide, but was closing up a little bit at the end. But that was an okay race. And then won the Summertime Oaks at Santa Anita very easily against a little subpar horses, I think. But I like this horse here going 2 turns against not so tough horses. Watch out for this horse. So to recap my bets for the 8th from Sunland, it's the 26th running of the Henson Handicap. Gonna go with the number 6 horse Fapian. Gonna go 6-5-9-7 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 9 from Sunland. The 9th race, it's the 29th running of the Bill Thomas Memorial. Purse $100,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 11 horses, going the distance of ground of 1,300 meters or 6.5 furlongs on the main track. 1,300 meters, 6.5. Top pick in this race, I like the number Um, the number one horse, Counterforce, gonna go 111.36 in the superfecta, 111.36 super. Top pick number one, Counterforce, 6-1. Ricardo Santana Jr. is on the Steve Asmussen trained 5-year-old horse by Smart Strike. Horse's most recent outing came at Sam Houston's 24th of February, 6 furlongs in the Houston Sprint Cup. This horse finished second by a half length that day. Was a little bit wide during the race, but had a great turn of foot at the end. Just missed. Wasn't a bad outing. I think today, from an inside poster where this horse could stalk on a good pace, I do think this horse can run well. Start before the 14th of January at Oaklawn, 6 furlongs off 6-2 claimer. Excuse me. So horse finished 10th by 9 lengths. Those allowance optional claimer races are very tough at Oaklawn. This horse really never was into it, and wide doesn't really help either. And then at Remington, 6 furlongs, an allowance race 45,000. Horse won by 4 3/4 lengths. He just destroyed the field even with a wide post draw. I like him a lot here today. This race doesn't look nearly as tough. There's a lot of speed where this horse could sit right off of and get a good closing kick. 6-1. I'll take my chances. So to recap my bets for today's 9th race from Sunland, it's the 29th running of Bill Thomas Memorial. Gonna go with the one horse Counterforce. Gonna go 111.36 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 10 from Sunland. The 10th race, it's the 17th running of the New Mexico State University Handicap. It's going for a purse of $100,000. It's for 4-year-olds and upwards. Field of 11 horses going the distance of ground of 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. Mile 70. Top pick in this race, I like the number 3 horse here, Weather Dodger. Gonna go 3-6-2-4 in the superfecta. 3-6-2-4 super. Top pick number 3, Weather Dodger. 10-1. 6-year-old gelding by Weather Warning. Ken Tohill's on this one. This horse is running some nice races, some nice lounge races locally in the last few races, and had some not so best trips, but I think that's going to change today. His most recent outing came earlier this month, the 6th of March at Sunland, 1 mile and optional 50 claimer. His horse finished second by 5 3/4 lengths, and just, he needed that race. It was his first start in 2.5 months, or 2 months, and, he couldn't catch the winner, but he ran okay going around the race course. Before that 7th of January at Sunland, mile 16th at the A. Dominguez Memorial, horse finished 6 by 6 1/4 lengths that day, and, just had nothing that day. Was very wide also. I don't think that really didn't help this horse's cause. And then at Zia, 1 mile New Mexico Classic Cup, horse finished 6 by 7 1/4 lengths. Just stalked that day and really couldn't get a good closing kick at the end. But he ran this race last year and he finished 6 by 10.5 lengths, and he was with the pace setters early on, but he weakened out of it. But he had a very, very wide post draw. I think today with an inside post where he can sit a little bit closer, he can run a big one. This race card from Sunland in years past, you always see horses that, a lot of upset horses, and I think this horse will be the upset horse. He hasn't won in a very long time, since 2017, and I mean early 2017, where he won the A. Dominguez Memorial by 3/4 length, quickening up nicely that day after a stalking position from a wide post draw. After that, he's run okay here and there in New Mexico, but he has a few long patterns between races, but I like him here today. Watch out for him at 10-1. So to recap my bets for the 10th from Sunland, it's the 17th running in the New Mexico State University Handicap. Gonna go with the 3 horse Weather Dodger. Gonna go 3-6-2-4 in the superfecta. So now let's get on to race number 11 from Sunland, which is the featured race of the program and the featured race of the meet. The 11th race, it's the 16th running of the Sunland Derby. Grade 3, purse $800,000. It's for 3-year-olds here. Field of 12 horses, a dozen horses going the distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or 1 mile and 1/8 on the Sunland Park main track. 1,800 meters, a mile and 1/8 here in this Derby prep. Probably final Derby prep for a lot of these horses. My top pick in this race, I like the number 4 horse here. If we can ever get my iPad to load, the number 4 horse, Hollywood Star. Gonna go 4-1-5-2 in the superfecta. 4-1-5-2 super. Top pick number 4, Hollywood Star. 3-year-old colt by Malibu Moon. Robbie Alvarado gets on this one for Dale Romans. This horse, had some very troubled trip his last few outings. His most recent outing came at Tampa Bay Downs, the 10th of February. Miles 16th in this Grade 3 Sam F. Davis. His horse finished 4th by 9 3/4 lengths, but had a horrible trip, wide post, and just really couldn't get a good closing trip closing kick that day. Throw that race out. I think you could throw out his race before in the Breeze Cup Juvenile Del Mar. Miles 16th, November the 4th. Wide post draw, 12 out of 12. This horse finished 6th by 15 3/4 lengths. Closed up well a little bit in the final few strides of the race, but again, he just had a horrible traffic wide trip. But before that, if you take out this last two races, before that, he ran very well. He finished second in the Iroquois at Churchill going a mile 16th. Finished second by 3/4 length. Closed up well. Just missed, but it wasn't a half bad run. And then finished second in the Saratoga Special after not a best of trips that day. Again, closed up well. And then main special weight, he broke his main at Churchill 6 furlongs in late June of 2017 very easily by half length. I like him a lot here today. He's been working well. He has a good inside post draw. He's a good stalking kind of position horse. Watch out for him to run a big one at 6-1. So to recap my bets for the 11th from Sunland Park, it is the 16th running of the Grade 3 Sunland Derby. Gonna go with the 4-horse Hollywood Star. Gonna go 4-1-5-2 in the superfecta. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.